Hi all, my name's Stephen. Hopefully you're familiar with the channel by now. If not, welcome. I'm trying to get people off the drink. It's a basic thing, and try and keep them sober because that's a difficult thing to stay sober for a long period and hopefully stay sober for life because that's the only way. If you can't moderate the alcohol, you've got to stay sober for life. But I've had quite a few comments and a few messages from people who are trying to help a partner, and some people I've spoken to on a personal level who've had partners and basically drunk themselves to death, even though they've been in hospital, they've had operations, they've had all the help with the NHS or even private medicine can give them, but they still drunk themselves to death. It's an addiction at the end of the day, isn't it? But I would like to hear some more of your own experiences, and if you are going through what I went, which was a lot of relapses and a lot of illness and a lot of anxiety and all the other stuff that goes with it, how you've managed to stop, because that's the main question. How did you stop? And more importantly, how did you stay sober? Because if you can't stay sober, that's going to ruin your life very quickly. Because as far as I'm aware, and from my experience, every time that you come off and get clean, as it were, and go back on again, it's much, much worse. I mean, 10 times worse. It comes back like a train, to be fair. So let me know what your experiences were and how you had partners who didn't listen to you. Because I keep hearing this, you've got to want to stop yourself. I agree with that. But if you've got other reasons, it's a big help as well. Because I would never drink again. I'm not gonna say I would never drink again. Is about what I'm trying to say. I wouldn't want to let down my daughter, my new partner, my consultant actually, because her face lights up when I walk in because I feel so good. And even she said, I didn't think you'd get back to even half of the health and strength that you are now when I saw you 5 years ago, because I was 9 stone, had lots of medical issues, very deconditioned, been drinking steadily for 5 years after an 8 year period alcohol free. So I relapsed 8 years ago, and after 8 years in 2014, and that nearly killed me. So the relapse is a big thing to avoid. So let me know what you've done, what you've experienced, the help you've tried to give people, and what you've got back from them. A bit of feedback would be good, because I know a lot of people are affected by this. In fact, I've got a lot of knowledge about this because I've gathered it just by being an alcoholic and mixing with alcoholics and heavy drinkers and all this sort of thing. But when you speak to more people, as I've been branching out a little bit and getting some more information on a personal level, I don't think I've spoken to one person who doesn't know somebody who's been affected by alcohol abuse. And quite often it's been to the point of, an early grave, which is horrendous, isn't it? I don't think people actually realise, and I certainly didn't, even though I've been a heavy drinker, how many people have health issues because of alcohol. You see, only 15% of people who have fatal consequences from alcohol have liver issues. The other 85% is made of other things: cancers, stomach problems, pancreatitis, and the big one, heart attacks and strokes, because your blood pressure rises massively when you drink. I've got a friend who just had a stroke. He said he just didn't want to stop, and that was the end. He's still alive, but lost most of his mobility now. Same age as me. He looks 82. That's 62. So, you know, let me know what happened there with your families and all this sort of thing. The more feedback I get, the more subjects I can cover. Because there are I could do thousands of hours about my own experience, but I want to hear from yourselves and let me know how you cope with it, or your relatives cope with it, or who else has been affected in your family. Because the more people I speak to, the more I find out how widespread this problem is. And nobody in authority, or very few people in authority, seem interested in it. Because if this was a drug problem, it would be dealt with by going down the legal route, wouldn't it? And I mean, they've tried to do it in Scotland with pricing, but that's just led to more shoplifting. Because if you're an addict like I was, you'll find a way to get it because you need it to live and you need it to survive, and it's the power of addiction, isn't it? And that's why it's so hard for people to give up. I don't think people should be exposed to it as much. I'm not making an excuse for myself. I enjoyed drinking. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. but there's certainly not the help around there should be for people in a mess. But let me know what your thoughts are, and if you like the videos, please subscribe and leave me a note, as I say, and just dig deep and just think, well, yeah, that was right. You don't have to give your name or anything, just a particular details. Just give me a broad outline of what happened in your family or yourself. We'll hopefully get a bit of a discussion group going.